This is a 2010 Vhedia Touareg. You can see we've got the factory unit in there. So not too much going on here with these factory units. Pretty basic like radio. We do have some steering wheel controls here, so we'll retain those. No USBs or anything, like no reverse camera. So we're going to do the upgrade today, and we're going to get a reverse camera happening and the units in here. So it should be pretty good. Decent cars, obviously. They're getting a bit older now, but this customer wants to keep it and put a new unit in there, so we'll get that happening for them. Include some of these tools in the kit. They just look like this. So what you want to do with these tools is clip them in. Now they go with this little notch pointing inwards, and as you clip them in, you'll like feel it all go clip and also like lock. You kind of got to like feel for it. Just be gentle. You'll like feel it actually go like clip in, and you want to put like 1, 2. We'll put like 4 in the kit. It'll go clip, and then you won't be able to pull it out. You put them all in, and you just like jiggle, and the whole unit will like pull out like that. So this is how it comes out. I've just used the tools we had there, and then we've got a few plugs in the back here that we just need to like pull out, and I will pull those out. They've all got a little like tab on them, and like one has a big cam lock on it, the big like black one. I will explain that to you, and we'll go from there. So they've all been taken off now. You can see that's the back of the factory unit, and I'll just show you these. This is a big cam lock on this one. So what you do is that when it's closed, is you clip it, so I pull on here, so you got to sort of push this down, and then you pull that like cam lock up, and it like pops off like easy. And these two here just have little push down tabs, push and pull off. I found it like easiest to spin the radio so I was upside down, so I could just push these tabs on the top and pull them off. If they seem tight and stuck, push them all the way back in, push down hard, and then pull off, because like sometimes you get halfway and it doesn't quite work. So I'll just cover what you get in the kit here. So what we got here, we include a cable puller tool. Just helps you pull some cables through that are a bit like hard. USB stick for like updates, trim removal tools. These are the fascia. So the fascia on like this model you'll basically like see, but these sort of screw in, and then our screen like clips into it. This will make sense in a second. The OBD2 scan tool, connect to your ECU. This is an auxiliary input cable, probably not like needed. Bluetooth, that's a Wi-Fi antenna. There's a 4G antenna for a SIM card, a third USB. Auxiliary inputs, majority of people won't be using this, so only if you're going to be running an aftermarket amp. 2 USBs, an external mic cable, GPS, external mic, SIM card tray, and FM radio adapter. Sorry, they just tangled up there. Reverse camera input. So there'll also be a reverse camera you will get in this kit. I will explain that. That'll be in this kit too. Our easy adapter harness and CAN bus, so it can hook to the cars like factory plugs. Obviously hydration assistant. There's obviously a user manual in here. A removal tool, should be like 4 of these in your kit to help get the factory radio out, and obviously the radio with the fascia built in. It's our M series. On the back here we have, I call this our main 20-pin plug, auxiliary plugs, GPS, 4G, FM, AM. That's basically everything in the kit. So now we'll go in and we'll grab what we need and test it out. So we're going to grab this here and the unit and just make sure it powers up, and then we'll go from there. So I'm just going to spin off. There's a few torque screws around the outside here. Not 100% sure what size they are. I'll just check and tell you. We got here 15. Not 15, so they must T20s, I reckon. These come off because once you take off these, what will happen is you're going to screw on these 2 little plastic bits we had. So this comes off, these 2 bits here, and they're going to go like that way up, so this little 3 bits of plastic are on the bottom. So we'll take both of these off, and then we should be able to put that on. And that's just how this unit clips in. It's like a fascia clip-in like model. It's just the design of like fascia, so it fits this type of car. So obviously again, grab your screws, put them in your holes, get them lined up roughly. Should be pretty straightforward. Screw them in, screw the bottom one in, or don't screw it in, like so, and then do the other side, and then put the other side on as well. Take those off. Now again, when you put these on, just you got to kind of tighten them up at the same time, because you'll see if you tighten up sort of one, it'll actually touch on here, but you'll see that it'll actually fit perfectly in like that. So we'll spin this one off too. Again, that's what I was talking about. Because I've already tightened up this top one, it won't let it sit in. So there you go. If you kind of like sit it in first and then tighten it up, you won't have any dramas, otherwise you'll find it rubs on the other little pieces. And again, you just got to tighten these about right each, and don't like over tighten them, otherwise you'll find they actually won't grip. That's those 2 pieces in like that. So that's that. Grab your harness kit. I've already checked this one, but it's pretty straightforward here. You got a big plug, obviously the big one's got up the top. This here has to come back, that cam lever, and it clips in, it should clip in like nicely. CAN bus like boxed in there, talk to car. That's going to plug into our like 20 pin one. This here is to keep the auxiliary in working, which actually I didn't even notice on this car, but it might have. Not sure this one does have an auxiliary in, so I would worry about it, and not many people use it these days anyway, but you can keep it. That's not needed, so that's all that. Then the only one in here you're going to need is one of these will be for the radio. I'm guessing the white one. I'll just double check and I'll let you know. And then we'll like plug this into our head unit, just like make sure everything's working. Got the radio. I put this here in the start because it can stay and it actually doesn't get in the way. You don't forget it later on. Basically plug this into here and then turn the car on, and you want to make sure something happens on the screen, and you're going to get power, and you want to check sound and like steering wheel controls. So I can see we got power, that's cool. I can use the steering wheel controls over here. I can see the sound goes up. I can hear we've got other radio. Not much is happening though. This adapter will plug into here. I'm pretty sure it'll be like the white one.
Spectre tint installed. Spectre, eh? The highest infrared heat rejection.
So there you go there. Sound on these cars are pretty good, so what I'll just double check, like you can go and put your head down to each speaker, or you can quickly go into the DSP app. I've got it turned off on this model. So to go like the settings, don't worry about this too much. You might have to do this. We should have it. We should have balance and disabled, like balance. We have a little video showing how to do that. If you do need to do, I can do that. I can tell just by so like listening to it that all the speakers are working. Like I said, these cars have got good speakers. They've got they got woofer and tweeter on the front doors and the rear doors. My European cars are pretty good. We just had volume up and down on the steering wheel. We know that worked. We didn't really have anything else on there. Yeah. So I could actually go into this app DSP here and do the balance. I just throw it around, make sure speakers are working, and they are, so that's fine. And then what you also find, this car hasn't got a factory reverse camera, but you'll see we can actually get the trigger from the car. We just don't have any image because we've got the CAN bus hooked up. So that's all looking good. Now we can go and do the camera, probably the next thing we do. Right, so in the back here, now we're talking about the reverse camera. So a bit of a pain on this car. So you could probably, if you really want to like some mess around, you could probably get to come through here, and you probably want to mount it up in here somewhere. But it's a real bit of a hassle to get into this top bit here, and we sort of I like to sit at the range where it's possible, but not too hard. So if you lift up here, pop your sort of side panel in here, and then you'll find in here there'll be a big piece of foam. I'll pull out that foam, and on like this wire here, there's a little like grommet. So pull that grommet out. And then we include a cable puller in the kit. You just want to pull through the RCA cable, which is that cable there on the ground. And you want to have, at the tow bar end, you want to have your RCA cable and your power cable. So basically we're going to mount the camera here. So that's what we're going to do. And because we have the trigger already, we can actually power the camera from the front of the head unit, which is a bit handy, because we don't have to get the trigger from the reverse lights. And then in regards to this, we just have to run this cable back to the front of the car. So we'll probably like tuck it down, go under the sills, up under the pedal. So if we come around here, we'll come down, we'll like tuck it under here, we'll go under the pedals and up behind the head unit there. So that's what we're gonna do for the reverse camera. We'll go into that now. So this is where you wanna get to, this coming out behind here. So we use our cable puller and we just like tucked it in down there, and that like pops you out sort of down by your handbrake down here. And then the rest of it, if you like take a trim tool, you can sort of like lever it up and just like tuck the cable under there. We tucked it under there. Obviously, so run it above the throttle, and you can just like tuck it in behind the carpet. You can see it sticking out there. We'll tuck that like down a bit, and just like make sure you run it underneath the steering column part too, and that'll pop out up here. And basically, what we're going to do is we're going to put power on this to power our camera. We're going to test it's all working. Then we're going to go throw all our cables for our head unit in, make sure that's all good, and then we'll tidy the camera up at the back. Right, so we've got this camera here. So we've put our camera cable in. You can see here, plugged in, that grey 6-pin one. Purple wire goes to the RCA around to the back. Green wire here, connect to the orange and black wire that was like coming off so this little plug here. This little plug's not like needed, so you can use the orange and black one here that's going to put power down this camera green line when we're in reverse. So we will tape the rest of these up. We won't be using them. That's connected. Power it up, put it in reverse, and you can see we have our reverse camera coming in. The only thing you will need to do is touch and hold on the screen, press the like settings button. We'll show you, touch and hold like this, settings, 4 zeros, okay, and change this like setting. It'll be one of the AHD settings. If you had a factory camera installed, it will probably be one of the NTSC CVBS. So that's that camera we'll put in. Now we can go and wipe the rest of it. Right, so I've grabbed all the extra cables we need and we'll go and put them all in. But this just means the unit has its own like GPS, so you can run maps on there. It's pretty easy. The system runs Android, so you can just run maps exactly like you would normally do if you downloaded them. This needs a clear view of the sky through the windscreen. So you could put it under here, but if you put something steel in here, wouldn't be ideal. Oh, there is a little spot I can feel up above here. This is probably where you want to go, in behind the dash here, because that can still see up through the windscreen. Again, it's just got a stick pad on it, peel it off, stick it on. But when you're obviously running Android Auto or like CarPlay, you're not using this. Just this GPS is just if you want to install maps, for example, that run offline on the device itself. So that's the GPS, leave it hanging down over there. We have the 4G antenna. That's if you want to put a SIM card in the actual unit. Some people do, some people don't. Plenty of room, you can stick this wherever. It's 4G, so it has a stick pad. It's a bit like your phone still gets reception if it's on the floor in the car. So your reception's still going to be fine if you stick this up behind the dash here, stick that down, hang that over there. You can pull a little bit of extra cable out. That's that and that. Then you've got the SIM card. This here we're going to run into the glove box. Again, some customers don't use this, some do. I just put it in because then it's in, and if you ever want to use it, you can do that. So if we pop the glove box, not too sure if there's any hole in here. This one's a bit difficult, so I'll go and have a look over there and I'll find a hole. So that's going to go into there. This third USB I'm going to drop into there too, and probably, to be honest, the other two USBs I'll drop into there too. So you can have 3 USBs in there. You'd only really use these USBs if you wanted to run our dash cam, our tyre pressure. On this sort of car, that's about it. We've a battery shunt coming out. Depends what you're doing, but I'll put them all in the glove box because then we can get to them. And then we've got a single USB, so that's going to go into there too. So I'll run all those into there. And then the one thing we do have is a mic. So this external mic, I'm going to run up the trim and into the side there, and I will show you that. So in the end here, I drilled a hole to run all these cords through. It's just easier to just check through from up here. You can actually see what's on the other side in here when you look through, so you can see it's all good. And then I've just pulled them all through here. That was just the easiest option for me. You could run them somewhere else. It's just quite tight in there to run any cables down. So that's all those cables are run in. So that's pretty much everything now. So now we can go and put the head unit back in and tidy it up. Alright, so see me tidy things up a bit. So the microphone is placed up here, has been run down the trim pillar here and then above the pedals. And then that has been plugged in to here. Tidy the plugs up across a little bit, you don't have to get too carried away. The ideal thing is they want to come in and kind of sit down as you put the head unit in. We just need to put the white clips onto our fascia here because they have to clip into here. That's how this fascia style works. And then you just go through and just make sure your plugs are in. So we've got our 20-pin plug in. We've got all these ones there in the glove box. So these go in, I call these our auxiliary ports. So they can only go where they fit. So you shouldn't be able to go too wrong. If the pins match, they're probably in the right spot. So plug all those in. Auxiliary we didn't have anything for. We've got our CAN bus box, don't worry about that. We'll put our Bluetooth antenna one in. We've got our Wi-Fi in, FM AM antenna. This here will slot back in here. Everything will tidy up and go back in. So we're just going to go through now basically and put it in, but we need to put these clips on our fascia first and we'll put it in. Right, so we have the clips on the fascia here. Now basically what happens here, this little yellow one you might be wondering is not needed, so don't worry about that. Push all these back in as it goes in. You can even pull one of the clips dropped off. Be wary of that. I should clip down okay. Maybe I didn't push that one down far enough. Might just give our cables in here a bit of a pull because I need a bit more length. Then everything sort of tucks back in as it pushes in. Then you want to line those clips up with those holes there. This side and have a look. Everything's looking pretty lined up. And then you should be able to push it back in like that and it clips in. Now, one thing I didn't do, which I always do, but I was feeling a bit confident today, was always come in and check that everything works before you go and put it back in. Obviously this one's pretty easy to pull out, it isn't a big deal, but I do always like to check things. We'll just let that boot up, I'll close the boot, just check. You got
those at 4 and
steering wheel controls, Steering wheel controls work, we've got sound, we can obviously hear that. Put it into reverse and just make sure something happens when you put it into reverse. That is a good sign. Camera's still in the wrong position, but that's fine. We'll tidy that up in a second and I'll show you how to tidy the camera up. But that is all looking pretty good. So I'll tidy those up a bit, and then that's basically the front of the head unit done. You can see it all in. It all looks pretty good. Looks nice and sort of flush in there, and it's like factory, and you can still get to your buttons. That part of the install, pretty easy. Reverse camera is like a bit of a pain. Probably want to allow yourself 2 to 3 hours to do this complete one if you put a reverse camera in too. And I'll just show you how to tie that reverse camera up. So there we go, all installed there. Steering wheel controls here still working, as you can see here. We've got the wireless CarPlay, fairly handy to have. Obviously the radio, the unit runs Android as a base, so you have access to the Play Store. You can store whatever you want. You can connect it to the OBD2 on the car. You can run it cameras in there, front camera or caravan camera. And we've set up the reverse camera on here. We've put it above the tow ball here, so that's where that is like sitting. If you did want to spend like a bit more time on it, you could probably put it up into the actual cab. I'll go and show you the reverse camera in a second. It was just a bit hard to get in there, so we didn't put it in there. We still like to sit in between, sort of easy to do in time. So that's what we've done here. So that's it. You can see it all looks pretty good on the side there. All fits in with the factory dash, all looking nice. And I'll just show you this reverse camera. So if you come back here, you can see where we've put it in the end. Now, it's down there. The cable has just been tucked up under, and I run along as I showed you earlier. Now, because it's got a tow ball here, that one's pretty going to be, it's going to be pretty like safe. You aren't going to like bang it off. Yeah, ideally you'd probably want to put it under here. It was just very hard to get the inner panels off, and again we like to sort of sit in between it, not being too hard for the installer to do. External mic up here, and obviously all the wireless CarPlay and everything happening. So that's all installed and done. So that pretty much covers that install. Like, it isn't too hard. It's a little bit time consuming. If you're just doing the head unit side, super easy. Reverse camera is a little bit of a pain, but that's what it is for reverse cameras.